All right, good evening, class. Today we're going to go ahead and do the last sections, section 7.4, and this is writing the equation of a line. And there are different scenarios. Here we're going to have three different scenarios in this particular section. In this section from your worksheet 7.4, we have a scenario where we have the slope and an ordered pair. Our second scenario is when you have two ordered pairs. And our third scenario is when we have a graph. So all of these three, we're going to have to figure out the equation for those things. But it does take a different approach to each of them. So keep in mind that that's the main theme to this section, that we got to figure out the equation for all three scenarios. So let's go ahead and get started with the first one right here. So in here, they're giving you from 1b, they're giving you the slope, which is 2, and they're giving you ordered pair, which is 4 and -4. When you have this type of scenario, when you have a slope and an ordered pair, what you're going to do is make sure that you define this as your x and this is your y. And the very first step here is to solve for your y-intercept, or in this case, your b. Remember, we're going to rely on this ymx plus b format right here. What we're going to do next is we're going to substitute the slope. We're going to substitute the x value and the y value into here to solve for b. In other words, to solve for the y-intercept. So let's go ahead and take a look at that. So we start off with ymx plus b. So we know our scenario right there. We're going to substitute our y. Our y in here is -4. Our slope is 2. And our x value is 4. So just go ahead and calculate this and then solve for b. So first we got to multiply 2 times 4, which will give us 8. So that gets rid of this, plus b. And remember, we got to isolate b, so we got to get rid of the 8. So we subtract 8 to the other side. So -4 minus 8 will give you -12. So b is equal to -12. All right, so what are we going to do with that b? Well, our second scenario here is just to simply substitute it into the ymx plus b. Remember, we had a slope of 2, and we already solved for the y-intercept, which we wanted. So in this case, your y-intercept, or your b, is -12. Now, use again the ymx plus b format and substitute it into there. So we substitute the 2 in there. So this will be 2x. And our b, it was -12. So it'll be -12. And that is your equation for that slope and for that ordered pair. Y equals 2x minus 12. And that's it. That's all you have to do on these. Let's try another one. Let's take a look at one with a fraction. So in this particular case, we have a slope of 2/3, and we have an ordered pair of 4, -2. Once again, this is going to be your x, this is going to be your y. So we're going to substitute that into that ymx plus b format to solve for b first. Remember, that's the idea here. We got to solve for b first. So we're going to go ahead and substitute this into this ymx plus b. So our y is -2. Our slope is 2/3. Our x is 4. And we have plus b. So it does involve this one is going to involve a little bit more work than we're normally used to. So let's go ahead and take a look here. All right, so first of all, we got to go ahead and calculate this. So we got to multiply 2/3 times 4. So 2/3 times 4. So this will be -2. Once again, put a 1 under the 4. So 2 times 4 is 8. 3 times 1 is 3. So we have -2 equals 8/3 plus b. So what you want to do here, we don't want to be dealing with a fraction a whole lot, is take a page from what we had when we were dealing with solving equations with fractions. We got to multiply by the LCD. So don't forget that stuff. So the LCD here, the good thing is it's one fraction, is you're going to multiply both sides by 3 to get rid of that 3 right there. So let's go ahead and do that. So each of those items is going to get calculated by solving for b. So we're going to multiply the -2 by 3. We're also going to multiply the 8/3 by 3. We're also going to multiply the 3 times b. So 3 times -2, that's -6. Now the reason why we multiply by 3 is because we want to cancel out the fraction right there. So essentially you have 1 right there. 1 times 8, it will be just simply 8. Or you could just put 8 right there. Plus 3b. So once again, it's a little bit more challenging because we have to deal with the fraction. But once again, it's not a big deal. Remember, multiply both sides by the denominator in that case. From this point, we go ahead and subtract the 8, which will give us -14. This cancels out, is equal to 3b. And then we divide both sides by 3. So we end up with -14 over 3 is equal to b. So keep that in mind. We're going to have that as your variable for letter B. That's our first part. Our second part, remember, is the easiest part. We got a slope of 2/3, remember. And we solve for b. Our b is equal to -14 over 3. And once again, we just simply substituted into this y equals mx plus b form. So your answer will be y equals to 2/3 x minus 14 over 3. And that's your equation for this. All right, so this concludes this scenario when you have a slope and an ordered pair on how to solve for your equation. The next one is when you have 2 ordered pairs.